Hey, my name is Chandler Summers, and this is my nuclear energy oral presentation for English 114. To start, I'm going to give you an introduction to what nuclear energy is. When you think of nuclear energy, you may think of radiation and nuclear weapons, but there is a lot more to nuclear energy than you may think, starting with its inception. Nuclear energy is the ability to control the energy release of radioactive elements such as uranium by splitting apart the atoms into smaller pieces that cause a highly efficient chain reaction to create clean, non-polluting energy. The heat from the reaction heats water that creates steam to drive steam turbines that in turn create energy. When properly controlled, nuclear energy is far more efficient and cleaner than any comparable energy source available. In the USA, nuclear energy began commercial use in the early 1960s, during which many nuclear energy plants were designed and constructed. This first wave of energy plants continued construction until the late 1970s, when the nuclear energy field suffered from decline and stagnation. And this stagnation did not begin to pick up until the beginning of the 21st century. Nuclear energy at a 93.5% efficiency rate has the highest energy capacity factor of any other energy source in existence at this current time in history. This is, in a nutshell, that 93% of the time a nuclear reactor is running at its maximum output. Considering this statistics that rank nuclear energy at 1.5 to 2 times more efficient than natural gas and coal plants, and a 2.5 to 3.5 time more efficient than wind and solar plants. Why are nuclear energy plants so much more reliable and efficient when compared to their counterparts, you may ask? It is because a nuclear reactor requires far less maintenance and are designed to run on longer stretches in between refueling, which only happens 1.5 to 2 times per year. A typical nuclear energy plant can produce 1 gigawatt of electricity. So why can you not just produce a coal or renewable energy plant that will produce the same output? It's because you would need almost 2 coal plants and almost 3 to 4 renewable energy plants to keep up with the output of a single nuclear energy plant. And here are some pros and cons surrounding nuclear energy. A lot of anti-nuclear activists have begun trying to focus almost exclusively on that nuclear energy is supposedly expensive energy. Nuclear fission is surprisingly inexpensive energy to produce, averaging at only about $1.86 per kilowatt to produce. That's total fuel and non-fuel related costs such as maintenance and payroll expenses included. In the United States, where energy is wholesaled for about 5 cents per kilowatt hour, a single 1 megawatt nuclear energy plant can expect to produce about 275 million above its cost of operation per year in total revenue. That's a nice turnaround, especially when you consider that a single nuclear power plant can expect to run for about 60 to 80 years with very predictable maintenance cost and low operating cost. Also, because the nuclear energy demand is not going out of style ever. What are the pros and the cons of nuclear energy? With the pros outweigh the cons of nuclear energy, but as with any current energy source, there are always going to be cons related to this highly efficient energy source. Nuclear energy has a low cost of operation. It has the advantage of being one of the most cost-efficient energy sources available. Nuclear energy is widely used in America, and it has a very stable baseload energy which can be used in conjunction with other renewable energy sources. By utilizing nuclear energy, it reduces emissions upwards of 555 million metric tons per year. Due to the low emissions output of nuclear energy, the vast availability of uranium, which is the main fuel source used in producing nuclear energy, this makes nuclear energy more sustainable, at least for the near future. Now for some cons about nuclear energy. Nuclear energy plants are expensive to build up front, but they are cheap to maintain and operate, and they have a high profit margin per year, which means that they pay for themselves relatively quickly. One of the biggest controversies surrounding nuclear energy is its production and disposal of radioactive waste, which is produced from the spent fuel cells. The main methods of disposing radioactive waste are to seal it in proper shielded containers and bury it deep inside the earth where it cannot damage the environment. But hopefully, with advances in technology coming in the future, we will come up with better ways of disposing of this waste. Nuclear energy plants also have a national security threat surrounding them due to the nature of nuclear materials possibly being weaponized, so security surrounding nuclear energy plants is extremely high and strict. Some of the economic benefits surrounding nuclear energy. A nuclear energy plant will employ 500 to 1,000 workers directly on a yearly basis, but its construction process can employ up to 4,000 workers during the peak time of construction. With advances in modern technology, nuclear energy has made great strides towards becoming more efficient, safer, and better for the environment. If the possibilities of nuclear energy are fully utilized, we can greatly reduce emissions until a more long-term energy solution is developed and put into use. Nuclear energy is not the ultimate long-term solution for the world's energy problems, but it will help us to provide more time to develop longer-term solutions that are needed for the world. Fossil fuel energy plants are continuing to become more and more outdated and need to be replaced with more sustainable energy solutions. And thank you for your time.